Surgido no século XX, o expressionismo alemão foi um movimento artístico e cinematográfico que buscava distorcer a realidade como uma forma de interpretar o mundo de forma subjetiva. Suas principais características incluíam cenários, maquiagens e figurinos exagerados, além do uso acentuado de sombras e contrastes. E entre seus maiores expoentes estão os filmes O Gabinete do Dr. Caligari, Metrópolis e, claro, Nosferatu. O filme, que originalmente era uma adaptação não autorizada do romance Drácula, de Bram Stoker, acabou sendo processado pela esposa do escritor, que venceu a disputa e obteve uma ordem judicial para que todas as cópias de Nosferatu fossem destruídas.
Mentira!
Mas algumas cópias acabaram sobrevivendo, permitindo que mais de um século depois, Robert Eggers, diretor de A Bruxa e O Farol, pudesse trazer a sua releitura do clássico conto de Nosferatu.
When I was in high school, me and a good friend did a senior-directed play of Nosferatu. And then a local theater impresario saw this play and invited me to do the play in a more professional setting, and this kind of changed my life. It enforced the fact that I wanted to be a director. And then it's been many years of trying to get this made as a film.
Finalmente.
A história acompanha Thomas Hutter, um agente imobiliário enviado à Transilvânia para fechar negócios com o Conde Orlok. Porém, o verdadeiro desejo do enigmático cliente é a vida de Ellen Hutter, a esposa de Thomas. E obcecado pela jovem, o vampiro milenar passa a levar todo tipo de horrores aos moradores da região para alcançar o seu objetivo.
Venha até mim. Venha até mim.
As atuações eram algo fundamental para o filme, que tem um tom mais contemplativo e baseado nas performances.
All the actors really put every bit of themselves into it to make it the most dread-filled and atmospheric we possibly could.
O mal vem de dentro de nós. O do além.
Like, each of these big statements need to be a little bit louder than the last one.
Incluindo até uma exigência peculiar do diretor Robert Eggers.
For him, performance-wise, it was all about honesty and authenticity, but then also he would give us lots of movies to watch performance-wise, kind of the Soviet cinema and Bergman movies, and he hates when actors move their eyebrows. So there was like specific things in terms of performance that he'd be like, this is kind of keeps you all in.
If they move their eyebrow?
Yeah.
A little less.
The eyebrows ones is sometimes tricky.
Você nasceu para isso. É dom raro.
E a atuação de Lily Rose Depp, filha do ator Johnny Depp, acabou sendo um dos grandes destaques do filme.
This role requires a lot of letting go and becoming something demonic and otherworldly, and I really wanted to show that I was willing to go there and that I was willing to get freaky and weird.
Lily's able to go into like an incredibly dark and an incredibly vulnerable place very quickly.
I've been completely astounded by Lily Rose every day on this set, doing an incredible accent for this role, and she conjures up such energy and the physicality she brings to it, particularly with like kind of the possessed scenes.
A atriz passou por um treinamento físico intenso e aulas de coreografia de Butô, a chamada dança das trevas japonesa, para interpretar as cenas de convulsão e histeria de sua personagem.
Going into this hysterical, shaking, convulsing fit, Lily did a lot of work pushing that forward and really finding it in her own body. And she had to make a really strong, like, grotesque demon face to the camera, and she really went for it. She drooled, her tongue went out, her eyes were rolling, you know, she was making the most hideous faces, and I'm really proud of the work that she's done to reach that level.
I remember being very intimidated when I first started working with her, and it was very cool. It was really cool to push my limits like that and see how far I could go.
Você não vê! Nunca deveríamos ter nos casado! Já estamos mortos!
She over-delivered.
Eu sou a fome. Nada mais.
O ator Bill Skarsgård não era a primeira opção para o papel do sombrio Conde Orlok. Willem Dafoe, que interpreta o personagem Von Franz, que é inspirado em Van Helsing, chegou a fazer testes para interpretar o vampiro.
Sei.
Mas Robert Eggers ficou impressionado com a performance de Bill.
You shouldn't see this. This breaks the illusion.
The amount of stamina and the amount of energy that it takes to like lower your voice and be this like supernatural creature that's incapable of imperfection is very exhausting. So I wouldn't insist Bill to be method and to stay in character. Sometimes you needed to lighten the mood, and he was able to do that and still like go back into the darkness.
Oh yeah. It's her, all right. It's her.
Bill Skarsgård is absolutely incredible as Count Orlok. He is, to me, really the only man for the job.
I've done these sort of transformative performances before, but none quite like this. I've never been more scared in playing a character than playing Orlok.
It's something that is so intimidating and fully realized and horrific that it is incredible to see and also terrifying to be around.
Eu posso aliviar sua dor.
E mesmo retratando uma criatura que vive nas sombras, cada detalhe da caracterização era essencial para dar vida ao personagem.
Ele está aqui!
In creating the look of Orlok, it was challenging because he is going to be a dead Transylvanian nobleman, and Bill has a very boyish face.
Robert had a very particular vision for Orlok.
The references that I got to look at were these sort of occultist warlords during that time in that place.
It's a different look than we've seen of any vampire character.
Doing something that acknowledged the folk vampire and is dressed the way a Transylvanian nobleman would have been dressed. He also wears these strange shoes that are mules with a silk sock and an iron heel that's shaped like a horseshoe. You only kind of get a glimpse of them when he's going up a spiral staircase, but you can hear a slight hint of metallic in the sound design of his footstep.
Você está atrasado.
E para alcançar o visual aterrorizante de Nosferatu, o ator precisou usar diversas próteses, fazendo com que ele tivesse que passar por um processo diário de maquiagem que chegava a durar cerca de 10 horas.
When I first saw the prosthetics and what it looked like, just a sculpture on it, the character was alive. It's so scary. It's so unsettling. Most of my time is hanging out with the prosthetics people. Head and hands were about 3 hours, and when there's a full body one, 6 hours. I spent so much time in that chair. They're next level, and they're also good people, which is important when you spend that much time with them. Sitting doing vocal warm-ups for 2 hours, like it's a weird place to be in for everybody. But they got my back.
Além de um treinamento vocal para alcançar o sotaque e a voz soturna do personagem.
I don't know why I keep putting myself in these situations where I'm playing a character that's so abstract to me. The voice was the biggest challenge.
He started sending me recordings of what the voice would be, and we went back and forth, and I would give him little notes.
Robert wanted the voice to be as deep, as inhumanly possible. I would just kind of walk around and practice Mongolian throat singing to try to stay in that kind of cadence.
We're checking and we're shooting next time, please.
It kind of just comes out of me like a deep guttural burp.
E mesmo os caninos tradicionais de vampiros foram adaptados para essa nova versão.
Teeth, no. Again, that's another thing. Teeth, he didn't want them to be the classic fanged kind of vampiristic teeth. And he didn't want them too ratty either. We found a way of having something in between where they're gnarled and they're slightly broken, but they're sharp.
Without the costume and without the prosthetics, you feel very ridiculous trying to perform him. But it was fun exploring it. It's abstract and you dissect the character and try to figure out kind of what the essence of this thing is. But when you put on the makeup the first time and the costume, it was like, okay, well, I don't need to do as much. There's so much power in how static and deliberate his movements are.
This works. The coat looks good in this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Suddenly, he became Orlok, and there was a kind of darkness and heaviness that was different.
O amanhecer se aproxima.
Outra característica marcante que precisava estar no filme são as aparições de Nosferatu por meio das sombras, uma influência direta do expressionismo alemão.
With Orlok's shadow, there was a lot of expectation that it was going to be CG, and I was like, well, why can't we do it for real?
They had to be crisp. Easiest way to do that is to use a convex mirror, but the problem there is that the convex mirror expands your shadow, and the shadow of Orlok gets really big, which is cool sometimes, and other times it's like, no, maybe the shadow shouldn't be this big,
O plano da equipe era gravar num castelo verdadeiro, mas acabaram não encontrando uma locação que atendesse a todos os requisitos que precisavam, fazendo com que eles optassem por construir não apenas o castelo, mas todo o vilarejo cenograficamente.
I think I've seen every castle in the Czech Republic and Slovenia and Romania, and we never found the right one. So we built it.
A ambientação e os cenários do longa são um deleite visual à parte, com a recriação de cada detalhe interno e externo das locações.
Paintings, furniture, every tiny detail to every large detail was researched and sourced.
Orlok's chests that he keeps his Dacian and Roman coins in was a recreation of a medieval chest that Craig found. Orlok's coffin is quite spectacular. It was based on mainly Polish coffins. The real ones have skulls on the side of them, and how sick is that?
From the very beginning, that was the goal, to try to give life to this world. I don't know how many people will see all the details, but it's all the departments working together to help Rob create this vision.
Para a cena da levitação, a equipe posicionou uma pequena rampa nos pés da atriz, que seria removida posteriormente na pós-produção. Mesmo com todos os efeitos práticos, algumas cenas não puderam ser feitas da forma como o diretor imaginava, sendo necessário o uso de computação gráfica para criar algumas cenas.
They want everything in camera wherever possible. You've got Craig's sets, which are phenomenal. He always delivers more practically than I would ever imagine. Obviously, we have the whole of Visburg. The backlot set was incredible and it was huge, but we still had to extend upwards and in every direction. We shot in Prague and in the Czech Republic, which is, doesn't have much of a seaside. So when we had to go to the shoreline, that was always going to have to be visual effects to help with that. There's 2 canal shots, which we didn't shoot anywhere near water. The only real thing in the shot is the boat with the actors shot on the backlot against green screen. It's always difficult trying to get the boat and the oars interacting with the water. That takes a lot of time, but it's also putting in all the little details. So the dirt and the sort of scum on the water and just the bits floating in it help give that idea that you're actually in the dirty canal water.
E para obter ainda mais realismo nas cenas, os atores tiveram que contracenar com lobos e ratos verdadeiros.
Meu Deus!
We had 2,000 rats, live rats, that were used in the film. A great portion of them were actually trained. In the scene where they come off the shipwreck, those rats were trained on a buzzer to run up off the port. But when we were in the chapel, we made these vacuum-formed rat mats that were covered in furry fake rats and then had the real rats on top of that.
Rats, don't always do what they're told on set, so it was great to have them. We would use them where we could, and even if we ended up replacing them, we'd have a really good reference of how they moved, how it was lit, how they respond.
Emma had to perform with, over a dozen live rats on their semi-naked body. Emma was super brave and super cool about it. You would have thought that we used CG wolves, but no, those were wolves trained by the Barnesh crew. It was a bit of a challenge because we had to do a separate pass with the wolves chasing a carriage that was motorized, and then a separate pass with the horses in order to not endanger the horses. This is where I say CG is great because we have real horses, real carriage, real wolves, real mountain slope, but putting them together in the same shot seamlessly.
Nosferatu teve orçamento de aproximadamente $50 milhões e retorno de mais de $180 milhões nas bilheterias mundiais. A obra foi amplamente aclamada pela crítica, sendo indicada a 4 categorias no Oscar. E obteve uma boa recepção por parte do público, fazendo com que o sonho de Robert Eggers em adaptar a clássica história acabasse sendo um projeto muito bem-sucedido. Se você gosta deste tipo de conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like, se inscrever no canal e ativar as notificações. Nos vemos no próximo vídeo. Até mais!